welcome to the show, welcome to the show. Here to give you knowledge that you didn't know. Put you on some game, now you got a buzz. You are now listening to Cannabruhz. Yeah. Hey, man, we already live in this thing, man. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Jerell.
And I'm Corey.
And we are
the Cannabruhz.
We got him that time. Hey, I'm telling you, man, we want that live every single time so y'all can feel it. Nah, but you know what it is, man. We back for another episode of your favorite new podcast, your favorite informative podcast, and your favorite way to learn something this week, man. You know, so hey, I'm just happy to be back, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I feel like I've had a productive day, like I was telling you before. I feel like I was able to, you know what I'm saying, really sharpen up today and execute well. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about today. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? No.
Right. Said everybody that's listening to this podcast right now.
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Yeah. I had a productive day as well.
That's right.
The wife is off these next few days. So
hey, good old QT.
Yeah, man. Get that QT with the cutie.
Let's go.
Being my daughter. And my wife. My wife's cute too.
Go. Yeah. Don't forget. Don't get in trouble.
Yeah. So I'm not cute. No.
I'm not cute. No, it's because you're straight up fine, baby. You know what I'm saying?
You beyond. you're the so they got bed and bath. And you're the beyond.
You are the beyond.
You are the beyond.
Bro, when we see y'all, look, when y'all see y'all posting hashtag the beyond, y'all picture, can you at least do a hashtag Cannabruhz on top of it, man? That's all.
Hey.
Yeah, man. That's good, man. I'm glad everything's good with you. You know
yes,
how
sir.
It goes, man. But you know, we got so much to dig into on this episode, man. And this is really dope, you know, just breaking down how the episodes go.
No pun intended.
What'd I say?
You said this is really dope.
Oh,
I said no pun intended. Pun intended.
Pun intended. Yeah. It's dope. Yeah, every episode dope. Y'all know what it is. Every episode is dope. That's right. So break it down, man, how these episodes go, even though they already know.
All right. So today we're going to start off with some word on the street.
The street.
What word on the street is just new updates in the cannabis news in general. So new legislation, big events that happen in the cannabis industry, or just something interesting that we would all like to know about upcoming or currently. So following word on the street, we got put you on game. So now what puts you on game is the purpose of it is to help you save money, right? To give you advice, give you tips that will help you avoid potential audits, help you save some money, or help you get your systems in order so that your business runs more efficiently. You can optimize the workflow and free some time up for yourself as the CEO. And then following put you on game, we got plug talk.
Hey. Yeah, plug talk, where you already know what we do during plug talk, man. We try to give the flowers while you can smell them and whatever else you do with them while you're alive in here to know that somebody appreciates you, man. That's it. Simple enough. I ain't gonna be too worried with it, but plug talk, we're gonna plug in a business or something that's admirable to us. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and kick it off with the first segment, and that's the word on the street. So Corey, what we talking about today?
All right. So first thing we're gonna talk about with word on the street is Allen Iverson.
Oh man, my idol.
Hey man. Hey, practice? We talking about practice?
We ain't talking about the game.
Well, you know what? Look, he ain't practicing today.
Yeah.
He
What you got going on?
he put himself in the game today.
Okay.
Today he entered a multi-year partnership with Viola Brands.
Okay. Let's go. Shout out to the
Now,
answer.
now, hey, now Viola Brands is one of the leading Black-owned multinational cannabis operating in the cannabis operating business operating in the equity space.
Word.
And
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like I said that funny, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
They,
straight up.
they beneficial to the movement for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Viola. They I know that connection got to be through Al Harrington because that's his brand, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Co-founded by CEO Al Harrington.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Some ex-ballers coming together, to really get some real money in the emerging market, man. Y'all know how it's going.
Yep,
Cannabis is the
yep.
future though, man. You gotta look, everybody's gonna be on top of it. It's gonna go further than just everybody getting a strain named after them, or somebody, just lending some money as a silent investor. Now that we're creeping into full legalization, as we getting there, right? State by state, you're going to start to see a lot of the big names, celebrities, legends in the game, in different games, in different fields, start to lend their celebrity to the movement, and we greatly appreciate it. Yeah.
And this isn't plug talk, but I'm gonna go ahead and plug your business. I'm gonna let you know a little bit more about Viola.
Okay.
So, like I said, they're the leading Black-owned producer and licensed wholesaler of premium cannabis products rooted in purpose. So,
I like the way that said. Hey, say that one more time. They might want you to say that one more time. Say.
Viola is the leading Black-owned producer and licensed wholesaler of premium cannabis products rooted in purpose.
Rooted in purpose. I like that. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
And it was founded in 2011 by Al Harrington. The brand was inspired by his grandmother, who suffers from glaucoma and diabetes, and she found solace in their cannabis remedies.
I love it.
So on top of the cultivation and everything, their mission is to create opportunities for communities of color in the cannabis industry. So,
fire.
Hey, shout out to Viola. Shout out to Al Harrington, his grandmother, and the answer,
Allen Iverson. Hey, man, that's what's up, man. So we need more businesses like this. We need more people with some influence, some cachet, right, to get together and lend it towards the movement, man. So y'all be inspired by this. I hope this snowballs into, some more NBA legends getting together, some NFL, MLB legends getting together. You know what I mean? Like we got, man, we have such a hold on business and the culture. You just want it to shift into business a little bit more. You know what I mean? You want to really see those black faces in those green spaces, man. So we like that. Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
shout out to y'all, man. We wish you nothing but success, and hopefully we can get you, go have a conversation on the Cannabruhz, so
one day.
Yeah, we gonna get there for sure. We got to sit down and talk to the big dogs. But yeah, man, what else going on the street, man? Let me know what's good.
So we got some more sports related news today in the cannabis industry.
Okay.
So we got ex NFL players accused. I don't know why it's plural, but ex NFL players accused of cannabis company money laundering and fraud.
Shaggy. What's going on? No, who are you talking about, man?
So your former Atlanta Falcon players, right? So we got Julio Jones.
No.
Right? So he's now on the Titans, but he was a key component.
Legend. He's an Atlanta legend forever. Know that. Yep. Julio, wait a minute. Julio, you said players, you said plural. Not my dog.
And Roddy White.
No.
Roddy White.
That's one of the first of all, I know this is unrelated, bro, but that's one of the coldest wide receiver duos, bro, of all time, bro. Like, and I'm just going statistically and how cool it was to see them in red and black as I grew up. I'm just saying, but hey, so okay, what's going on? I ain't gonna run off on a tangent.
So they're being sued for money laundering and fraud for allegedly harvesting and selling over $3 million a month of cannabis on the unregulated market. So on that black market.
Okay,
we can't be black folk operating in the black market, man. We gotta that's like a double negative right there, man. Okay. You can't do that, man.
It's too black.
The culture won't allow it, man.
Oh man, nah, man. I'm messing with him, man. I read it too, man. I did read it, but I was not trying to give any validity to this story. I've already heard that their attorney is looking to shoot down all of this, says that it's a conspiracy, and because they're dirty bird legends, I gotta say it's a conspiracy.
Hey, that Jamal Anderson, man.
I gotta say it's conspiracy too, man. But other facts from the case that I heard about, so it wasn't actually them that was in there finessing and trying to sell weed illegally. Like, where does that really happen? What really happened?
So Genetixs, so that's the company that is suing them. They allege that the pair illegally harvested and sold over $3 million a month on the unregulated market. And so they're accusing them of working with the ex-Genetixs manager named John Van Beek.
Okay.
So he's accused of breach of contract for failing to report cannabis sales and not providing budgets, invoices, expenses, and other paperwork to the company.
So that's how he lost his job, right? So he lost it. Yeah. So he lost his job in the first place. I think I read he lost his job in March of this year.
Right.
He lost his job in March due to breach of contract, right?
Right.
Okay. And yeah, man, I mean, honestly, you're supposed to be you manage any business, but when it comes to cannabis, how strict the guidelines and everything are. You're not providing budgets, you're not providing invoices, expenditures. Right. So it sounds like there was some shady transactions going on, right? And I guess that's why we got a lawsuit on our hands. What else do we know about this stuff?
And so Van Beek allegedly turned off cameras in the facility at one point to prevent the new manager from entering the Genetixs campus. And additionally, the ex-manager and the NFL players, which they were operating as SLW Holdings, apparently they abandoned the facility to the landlord, and then they looted 22 cannabis harvests and damaged machinery worth millions of dollars.
Wow.
And so California, so the California Department of Cannabis Control, so that's their regulatory market right there.
Right.
Is asking Genetixs to forfeit their license on the grounds of not operating at their designated location, according to the Tennessean.
That's cold. Yeah, that's so crazy. I mean, but how control department, how departments are. This is Department of Cannabis Control. You got to imagine, like, you only get a license for this particular location, right? So as soon as that stuff is moved, like the majority of it is moved, I assume that's how the infraction occurred. But man, that's rough. And then my other thought behind that, man, I want to know how you feel too. But my thought is that, okay, man, Julio is getting ready for a strong comeback season with the Titans or whatever.
Right.
I don't know what Roddy's doing. I've seen him on some, analyst situations. I've seen that. He's still repping Dirty Bird Nation and all that kind of stuff like that. Got some different gigs, but I don't imagine them like hitting a 40-yard dash with a bunch of hash. I don't see them just running with bags with bags of cannabis. So yeah, tossing it to each other. One hand, who catching that thing?
Yeah.
Julio catching that thing from back there. Wow. But no, man, that is crazy though. In all seriousness, that is pretty crazy. This will be, hey, this is the reason why we're talking about a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about today. Some of those preventative measures when it comes to cash control, security systems, POS systems. You got to have this stuff in place, man. And I don't know, like when they fired him, Van Beek, right? Van Beek, right?
Yeah,
They fired Van Beek in March. My question, right? Because it's only a little bit of information we have right now. I'm sure more is to come. But my question is, how long did they notice things were like going without, right? Because you mentioned invoices are missing, budgets are mentioned are missing. Right? Are they getting this information from their accountants, or is this like the new manager that comes in and is like pointing the finger at the old guy? Like, my thing is, what measures did they have in place to prevent something like this? Because let's be honest, this could happen to many different cannabis businesses out there. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it could easily happen to them. You entrust someone to manage over your business. This is your business and everything, but you want to work on the business, not within the business, right?
Right.
You want to work like that. So I assume you're not even there. You're assuming that everything is right. You check with your accountant, everything looks right. But I'm like, how long was this going on? Or was this, when they cleared out the 22 harvest, was that the only time that it happened?
Right. I have no idea. As the attorneys get involved, and I'm sure more media will get involved, we'll definitely find out more information. But one thing that we talked about before is the cost of a license. So licenses cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And not only that, there's not unlimited licenses that many of the states offer out. It's a finite amount. So if they say, hey, we're only going to do 600 licenses in total to include cultivators, retailers, so on and so forth, and you're one of those 600, you're very fortunate.
Right.
So for them to say, you no longer have a license, or we're revoking your license, it's crazy. Like that's a huge blow to the company, and I'm sure that's why they're fighting against it. But that's a huge blow to the company right there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I assume, that once again, I assume the lawsuit is coming due to the fact of like, we lost our license now. Right. So there's no revenue coming in due to the fact of a guy that we already fired doing some crazy stuff. So, man, I hate, first of all, that these Falcon legends are tied up in this. And who knows, because at that point, then maybe there's a lawsuit to come between SLW Holdings, right? And this guy, right? Because it's like, he's not actually a part of that. I'm sure they just came on board seemingly as investors, and we don't know to what extent, but it's crazy, man. And I'm trying to give them the benefit of doubt, clearly, because those are my Falcon legends. I just can't, imagine that, right? But hopefully those good brothers figure it out, and hey, man, everybody gets what they deserve and what's owed to them, man. So that's the best thing we can say about that. But normally, Corey, we always transition when it comes to like how we do our segments. So we always transition, and word on the street that all of a sudden we gonna step back and then we hit you with the put you on game and all that stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
But those are kind of blended right now, ain't they?
They're blended. Pretty blended right now.
They're pretty blended, So we gonna kind of dive into that a little bit today with today's version of Put You On Game.
Put you on game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In today's version of Put You On Game, we are trying to talk to you about policies, procedures, and cash control,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So for all of our ganjapreneurs out there that are, we passed the stage of investment. You already got everything together. You got a lease, you got licenses, you got everything that you need to operate as a business. This is a quick checklist. I say quick because we're going to give you about over 10 different points that you should be focusing on. But you definitely need to dig into all of these a little bit more than we are in this episode. And of course, there'll be game revealed, in a YouTube video for you guys. So y'all be on the lookout for that. But we're going to go ahead and really get into it, Corey. So here are the things that you need to be focusing on when it comes to policies, procedures, and cash control. Okay, so the first thing under policies, procedures, and cash control itself is that it must be written documentation. Who does what and when, right? To protect not only the financials, but the rest of your assets. Like, that's just what has to happen.
We just have an agreement on the phone that don't count.
It does not count. It does not count, right? Because that's not legal documentation.
What if I put it on my mama though?
Unless your mama is one of the the owners, unless your mama is listed as an owner, she has no business in this cannabis business.
Like, nah, son, I put it on my mom. It's word is bond.
Yeah,
word is bond.
Yeah, no, for real though, man. So the biggest thing is that that's the first precedent. So everything we talk about, it should be written. There should be documentation. That's the first thing, right? And not to mention, it's going to be needed for audit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they need to know who's responsible for what. They need to know, dates, times, everything. So whether you're in the cultivation, which is very time sensitive, right, or you're in retail, you still need to make sure that dates, times, and overall accountability is taken in your cannabis business. Okay. The second thing that you need to make sure is checked off on your list, and you continuously return to make sure that it's still going well, is the cash controls and procedures. By that, we literally mean written internal procedures for day-to-day cash handlers, right? So we're talking about there has to be, whether you do it in a manual, right, or maybe a e handbook or something, right, where it's written the duties of the people that are going to be handling the cash day to day.
Yep. Yeah, and that helps prevent that money laundering as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, if the IRS doesn't know where that money's coming, if investors don't know where the money's coming, then for all they know, you had a legal business and you try to wash and clean that cash up through this dispensary or this cultivation.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, look at the guys, look at the situation with
right.
Genetixs, right? Look at the situation with Genetixs, because they were mentioning, we were missing invoices. So you weren't sure about day-to-day revenue being made. Like, you weren't sure about that. My other question too, my only question that I had about that comes into my next point, which is a solid POS system, right? Because POS, you can pull a report from a POS system. All of the entrepreneurs out there need to make sure they have a solid POS system. Yeah. I mean, literally, I heard that some of them, POS systems aren't great. There's always room for improvement when it comes to POS systems, but you need two different systems that's going to help you when it comes to accountability for the people, the staff that's in place. You need those POS systems to be right. And then this is kind of a no-duh. You also need a solid, great, sure security system. So you need your POS system, you need security system, and you need that security system set up where there's some kind of camera, something to monitor where the actual cash is exchanged. Like, because if you think about it, banking is always an issue when it comes to the cannabis industry, right? Well, you want to make sure that you have eyes on when cash is exchanged, because it will be a heavy cash operation. It will be a heavy cash operation for the fact that you're not going to have a lot of card transactions and things like that, due to the fact banking is an issue. And then, so you kind of mentioned before, Corey, about like the whole laundering and the money laundering and stuff like that. One thing that you want to make sure is happening is that the people that have access to the safe and anywhere, the tills, the vault, anywhere where the cash may be, is they're not using the business funds like a piggy bank. Okay, so no piggy bank activity. That was the next points that I want to make sure that entrepreneurs understood. You know what I mean?
So what do you mean by using it as a piggy bank?
So by using it as a piggy bank, what I mean is it's 3:00 in the day. We're open 10 to 7, right?
Right.
All y'all been working hard, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get some wings. I'm gonna get some wings. Nothing big. How many people work here? Okay, 7 of us are here today. I'm gonna go ahead and get wings, fries, drinks, all that kind of stuff for the team.
Right.
And you go into the safe, the cash till, the safe, the vault, to get money for wings. That's what we mean by no piggy bank activity. You cannot use your business funds just sparingly, right? Because there's no way to track it. That's supposed to be like wages are a certain expense, and the people that are doing your books, your accounting team, needs to know where every single dollar is being spent. Remember, you're a cannabis business, so you are subject to auditing, and you most likely will be audited. It's a matter of when. We talk about that all the time here. The IRS is coming, right? You have to abide by 280E, but and then to be loose for no reason at all is just not a safe practice,
And I feel everything you said is spot on. Seed to sale tracking is the number one, or one of the main concerns of the state that's regulating you. They want to make sure that as soon as you get whatever seed from the breeders, or however you get the seeds, that it has a tag on it so that it can be tracked. And they want to make sure that at no point is it disappearing, or you have products disappearing, similar to genetics, right? You don't want to have products disappearing and next thing you know it, you're on the, it's being sold on the black market. So they want to make sure that everything's being handled correctly throughout the entire process. And substantiating documentation is huge. It's huge, again, for your license. So your bread and butter, or your ace in the hole for everything, is that license, right? That's
right.
That's your lifeline. If you don't have that license, you can't do anything. So if you don't have the proper documentation like they're requesting, then you can potentially lose your license. And secondly, as far as the accounting piece goes, right? So if you don't have the documentation to back up what you're claiming, so you already can't write off 85%, 85 to 90% of the stuff that you incur.
Right.
But the little bit that you can write off, you have to have strict documentation for that, for your cost of goods sold. Otherwise, if you don't have it, then it's a wrap, and you're not going to be able to exclude any of that income, and therefore you're going to be penalized or taxed on 100% of the gross revenue that you made.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's funny you mentioned that as far as COGS, cost of goods sold, because that's definitely one of the things that's on this checklist. So
Yep.
make sure that you have addressed cost of goods sold. COGS is huge. You need to understand the type of accounting and accounting methods that are going to be useful for your business. But it's the only legal deduction, which is really not a deduction.
Right. Right.
It's an income offset, right?
Correct.
It's not a deduction, but it's the only deduction for Schedule 1 substances. So, and that's 280E. As we always mention, your business partner, right? So don't try to avoid 280E. You just need to abide by it. And that's your one break that you have. The only break that you have is in COGS. So cost of goods sold, always very important. I'm glad you mentioned that, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, the next thing that should be on your checklist after COGS is inventory procedures. So any retailer in any industry does need inventory procedures, kind of a no duh, right? But what procedures do you have in place for your cannabis business, right? There needs to be monthly inventory checks, monthly inventory counts of what's going on. There's so much going on, cash being exchanged. There's a lot of product. There's a lot of, you can have somebody skimming off the side. You can have a person that you designate as the cashier who is ringing up, that's why you make sure your POS system is good, right? But they may be ringing up 10 grams and it's really 20, and you need to kind of figure this out. They might be ringing up 3 edibles and it's really 5, right? Kind of giving the homie discount. The homie discount cannot be on your watch. You're a business owner, right? Even your homies can't have the homie discount. You make good money from your business, then deal with your homies and celebrate them on your off time with your wages and profit. But in the business, there needs to be monthly inventory counts. Okay. Also, GAAP is required for extracts, in edibles, and cultivation. So just kind of depending on where you are, you might, as far as edibles and extracts, when it comes to our retailers, you got to know that GAAP accounting is actually required for those. So
and what is GAAP? What does that stand for?
So GAAP is an accounting method that is best used. Really GAAP is the only accounting method that is necessary for most retailers in the cannabis industry. So that's just something that they need to know. And you can break down GAAP a little bit further for them.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's the generally accepted accounting procedures or principles. So it's just the standardized form and standardized way of accounting.
Yeah.
Like Jerell was saying, you can't be utilizing a alternative form of accounting, thinking that, hey, well, I don't go by this method, so I'm going to write it off this way, and because that's not recognized, they're not going to allow you to deduct, or they're not going to allow you to utilize cost of goods sold, and they're not allowed. And same with the inventory process is on top of having your inventory, it's still a part of that seed to sell tracking, right? Is make sure that you're not being negligent, right? You still have accountability and responsibility towards your inventory. And tracking your inventory with the right method. Tracking your
Right. Yeah, you're right. No, tracking inventory with the correct method. And you also need to make sure you're working with your accounting team.
Of course.
Right. So that they can correctly allocate costs between inventory and COGS.
Right.
Like that's where your accounting team comes in. Right. Shameless plug. Right. Yeah.
Harvest accounting firm.
Harvest accounting firm. Harvest accounting firm does sponsor this message. But no, seriously though. Yeah, you got it, because they know that. That's the part that you don't. Like, just trust me that you don't know how to allocate costs between your inventory and your COGS. I'm sure that's just way beyond way beyond your spectrum. You're a business owner. Focus on your business, run your procedures, right? The other thing you want to make sure that you're addressing and always attentive about is the your fixed assets. Okay, so pretty much what's needed, and on your checklist you should be writing down, is month-to-month ledgers and sub ledgers for compliance and business operations. Right, you need to understand a little bit better what you have to use, and that it's used in the proper way is the best way that I could pretty much put that. Can you talk a little bit more on fixed assets when it comes to our cannabis businesses?
I sure can. So your fixed assets, more like it's like your buildings, your equipment, land, vehicles. So especially like if you're a cultivator, so you're going to be using a lot of equipment. You're going to be using
right.
And if you think about it, in the Genetixs story that we're telling you about, they were saying that they had millions of dollars worth of damage in their assets. And that's what they're talking about. Their equipment, their grow house, their lights, not the lights, but their grow house,
The fixed assets, yeah.
Right. All of those are examples.
No, that's a great example, because how would you know how much in damage there was, right? Like, how would you know that? Right? You would have to make sure that you have proper documentation of the business operations for your fixed assets. Like you need to know that. So make sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, how much you purchased it for?
Right.
Did you incorporate depreciation on there?
Right.
You know, so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. I'm glad you mentioned the depreciation. We're talking about machines here, people. So kind of focus on that. That's for the cultivators, right? But then there's depreciation in so many other things as well, right? Like if you're in a retail environment and you own things that are in the building, like you got to know that a lot of those things will depreciate. You know, a lot of people are doing extra things for non-cannabis items in their business, but still contribute to the cannabis business. So please make sure you have like a good understanding of all of your fixed assets and are able to pull up a ledger for that. Okay. And you should be doing that month to month. Don't forget. The next thing on the checklist will be your liabilities. Pretty simple. So we're talking accounts payable, your debts. You should have all of your invoices included in this. So you kind of have an understanding of what your true debt to income ratio is. That's important when you're assessing your liabilities. You know, we talk about liabilities a lot, actually. So liabilities is on the list, man. Now, what do you think about as far as liabilities when it comes to the cannabis businesses?
Well, you also want to make sure that you are tracking all your liabilities because, as we've said in many other videos, it's your exit strategy, right? So you're in the game to grow your business. To if your strategy is to sell it off, right, or to get bought out, they're going to look at your liabilities. They're going to Are they going to assume your liabilities or not? And that's going to affect the capitalization of how much you get back for the sale of your business. So
that's right.
If you don't have all that in order and you're wanting to sell, an investor might think twice about that, saying, "Hey, you don't have your books in order. I don't feel comfortable acquiring your company because." I don't know if you're hiding something, or I don't know if there's any other liabilities that are risks because it's a risk at that point.
That's right.
I don't know if there's any other risks that are present that I'm not aware of, and I don't want to risk that myself.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Corey, because the next thing on the checklist is sales, right? So within sales, here's the reason why, like Corey just mentioned it, the reason why you want to make sure you understand your liabilities, but you also understand your overall sales is because you could lose value at the time of exit if accounting, specifically your revenue, isn't accurate. If it's not accurate, then you could lose value. And you know, so your word on what the business means isn't the same to someone that's acquiring it. You got to think they're trying to buy at the, you know, lowest, you know, dollar amount possible, right?
Right.
And you have your value of the business emotionally, right, may be different than what its true value is. That's why you do need to understand your fixed assets and where they are at the time that you're ready to exit. You need to understand your liabilities at the time of exit. When you're building your exit strategy, you should be concerned, one, how your business is operating. How does it operate day to day, month to month? And then where is the status of everything that you own within the business, everything that you're concerned. So think about it that way. You want to also make sure, and this is kind of another little checklist under sales, but you want to make sure that your accounting team is reconciling your POS system monthly. Okay, so you want to make sure your accounting team is reconciling your POS system monthly, along with all the cash counts, the state seed to seed to sell system. I had seed to success in my head. That's all right.
Right.
But the state seed to sell system, all of the deposits, the merchant service reports, and the accounting software. Right. So all of that should be reconciled monthly. And that's the job of your accountant. So make sure you have a good accountant that understands the POS system. See, you have to make sure. That's another thing, you know, all accountants aren't familiar with every single POS system. So make sure that your accountant, when you first bring them on board, that they understand your POS system. Maybe see if they have a recommendation of a better POS system that would not only get them to understand your business better, but that will get you to understand your business better. Yep. You know, so please make sure, because your sales aren't just something that come and go. It's not just, hey, we made an excess of 15,000 this month. You need to know still where every single business penny went, because you possibly made 20,000, but you know, some of the stuff wasn't accounted for, right?
And I'm glad you said that, because it works that way, and it works in the reverse. Because if you get ready to sell, if you're just looking at the end number, you know, let's say you said, look, we have this much in assets, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You know, this is the value of our company, right?
Yeah.
That snapshot may not be accurate because some of your other expenses might not have hit yet. We have all been there when
hey, we've been there. Hey,
you look at your bank account and you're like, oh, I got a couple $100 in there.
I'm about to ball out.
All right. Look. I'm gonna take the family out to eat. You know, we're gonna have a good time. Take the wife out, go on a date, and
get what you want, baby.
Hey,
put some cheese on it, baby.
Hey, we're gonna supersize that meal today, baby.
Supersize that thing.
and so everything's good, and then 2 days later, you're negative. You're negative $250, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, how am I negative when it was just saying that I had $300 to $400 in my account?
Right.
It's those pending expenses right there, right?
Yep.
So you got to make sure that that's where that tracking regularly comes into play. Because otherwise you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, man, say that. Say that twice for the people in the back, man. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot. Understand everything, right? So make sure that's all up to par. All right. And then the next thing on the checklist that I did want to make sure that you were kind of paying attention to was the payroll. So pay your payroll, your rent, you know, your leases, those don't take long to understand. This is something that when you first set it up, you want to make sure that you've established your business with a 420 friendly or cannabis friendly payroll provider, right? Because you remember, just like there's issues in banking, something that's an underlying issue that most people don't even think about is that payroll companies don't all endorse and want to get in bed with the cannabis companies. So that makes it a little bit tougher.
Facts.
Right? Now, we're not going to boost anybody's business, but just know that there are cannabis-friendly payroll systems and providers that will help you with your cannabis business, okay?
And one big thing is for some of those services out there is they want to differentiate is if are you plant touching or not, right? So if you're an ancillary business and you're working with those plant touching businesses, you might be good to go. You might not be, right? So it kind of works all around for anybody that is interacting with those plant touching businesses.
Yeah.
And like Jerell said, it you make sure you have that 420 friendly. Otherwise, they're gonna shut all your accounts down, and any type of income that you have coming in, you might not receive that anymore because all your stuff is frozen.
Yep. Man, imagine that, right? You still got employees to pay, right? Never mind all of the subleases and stuff that you may have for machinery and man, just really think about that. So make sure first your payroll is done by cannabis friendly payroll system provider. So please make sure that is happening. Same thing when it comes to rent. We talk about rent. Make sure if you are renting the space that you operate your business within, make sure that there's a transparent understanding of what your business is when you are going to lease it. Please make sure you understand that, or if you're buying it outright, either way, they still have to know that you're a legitimate company, but they also need to know what your company is. And a lot of times, in the cannabis businesses, in the cannabis world, a lot of times you want to hide a lot, right? It's almost customary to just want to hide when you're talking about weed, right? But you're a legal business. You're a legal business. Like, you have licenses, certification, you got all kind of stuff to just stamp your name and stamp your business and your brand, right? So make sure that you proudly rep your flag and you take that into those offices and let them know and be transparent. Plus, transparency is always key. Open communication so that there's no surprises. You're having a grand opening or something like that, and you get a note from the landlord that you need to vacate the premises in 5 days, and your grand opening is in 6. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, man, you got to really think about these kind of things. It's not just all good just because you're in California or Oregon or or Nevada or whatever. Make sure that the place you're renting, the people that are doing your payroll, the leases that you're taking out, have an understanding of what kind of business you're running. That's it, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then another checklist, and we almost done here, but another checklist I wanted to make sure that you guys had on your list, and I hope you guys are still taking notes right now, is the internal audit and review process. We talked about it already. It's coming. It's coming. Now, what you want to do to properly prep for, back up a little bit, properly prep for that audit that's happening by the IRS when they come, is an internal audit and review process. Have that in place. Have the proper segregation of duties. Having the proper segregation of duties is key. Okay, so you need to know that the people who handle cash and inventory are not touching the accounting records. Here's a big reason why. There's a big reason why you want to make sure those aren't together or handled by the same people. First of all, this kind of brought me back to some of the cases that we covered, where we spoke about how that separation saved them from tons of damage. Right?
Let's go, champ.
Right.
Let's go, champ.
Yeah, think about that, right? So what happened in the Champ's case? Like, where separation was key?
And just to clarify for everybody that's not familiar with CHAMP, this is Californians helping alleviate medical problems.
Yeah.
CHAMP.
Yeah.
And
Just in case you don't know.
right. And so with them, the IRS didn't want to allow them to uh, utilize, or they didn't want to allow their deductions, and they didn't want to allow their cost of goods sold due to the fact that they had medical marijuana. But
Right.
because they had different systems in place where the people that were touching the cannabis or the medical marijuana only dealt with that, and the people that worked in the other services only dealt with that. They were able to provide a clear delineation between the two, like, hey, these are two separate businesses, on top of we're not trafficking any cannabis, right? It's just a membership fee. They're not paying for the cannabis, they're paying just for the membership.
Yeah. And one of those and other than other services to the public, even internally. See, this is focusing on internal, right? But it's the same measures that you take when you deal with external, dealing with your customers and everything else. The people that are handling, I'm gonna say this again, the people that are handling the cash and inventory, the people that are like the cashier, the whoever in the back, the person that's taking in the stock, everybody, those cannot be the same people who have access to your accounting records. This is the reason why you're bringing on an accounting firm, right? That's the reason why you're bringing on an accounting firm, because the accounting firm, they are not going to put on, your t-shirt, right, and a badge and get on in there just because you're short staff today. Like, it's never going to happen, because legally the accounting team, we can only handle the records. We can only handle the records. We can only go over many things that we're going to have, in a laptop or a desktop or something like that anyway. So sometimes I know some accounting professionals like to go there and they kind of work within the office, right? Or some just work remotely. Regardless, they won't be working on the sales floor. So make sure you keep those separate.
It's a conflict of interest overall. If I'm doing your books and I'm touching the product, I can take products, fix the books where it doesn't show, it's not showing what I took, and now there's a discrepancy somewhere, right?
Yep.
And you want to do everything you can to eliminate that. And not only the IRS will audit you, the state will audit you. That again, that seat to sell is tracking, right? That POS system is tracking. Yep. So they have cameras 24/7 watching all of the RFD tags on the plants to make sure that nobody is, hey, looking left, looking right. I'm gonna slide this nugget right in my pocket real quick. Nobody's gonna know, right? That's not gonna fly. And so that's where these internal audits come in. So you can make sure that, hey, well, there's a gap somewhere. There's a gap in our procedure. So let's plug this gap so that we don't have pilfering or any type of theft.
Yeah. And because you got to know, you might want to get it right in your own house before they come a knocking. And it's just that simple, right? It's kind of like you might want to raise your kids until, before the world attempts to raise them and discipline them,
You fight how you train.
Straight up. That's true.
If you half-ass training, if you boxing and you half-ass, and then you get out there and you think you're going to be this phenomenal boxer, you've already established those bad habits.
Logan Paul did it.
Look, the only exception I'll give for that is the answer, Allen Iverson, because practice. But other than
we ain't talking about the game.
Other than Allen Iverson, you need to make sure that you are auditing your business harder than the state or the IRS ever would. If you got to hire external auditors to come in and audit your company just to make sure that your books are squared away, then do that.
Do that. Come on, whatever it takes to keep your business afloat and save your business if it's on its last leg, right? You want to make sure that you have as much control as possible. Probably the reason why you're an owner in the first place. You need control, right? And then last but not least, the last thing I wanted to mention as far as the checklist for all my entrepreneurs out there was cash forecasting, right?
Hey.
Cash forecasting, right? So you have an idea. Let's break it down. You have an idea of what's going on with your money day to day. You have an idea of what you want to make. Maybe you've thought about the short-term goals as far as how much do we want to make this month? Maybe you thought of long-term goals, such as in the next 1 to 3 years, how much can we bring in revenue, right? And what's the means of getting that done? So you need to have a good team that's actually pulling reports to strategically navigate those short-term and long-term cash flow objectives. Okay. So this includes for this to make sure you need this part, make sure you write this part down. This is what you should be looking for your accounting team to pull out for you. Balance sheets changes. So your balance sheets, they need to pull profit and loss statements, and they need to pull statement of cash flows. So that kind of just pretty much shows every which way that you're spending or receiving cash. Like that needs to be understood.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. So that balance sheet is a snapshot of how much you have, right? So that's when you look in your bank account and you're like, oh, I got $400 in there. Okay, I'm good. But that cash flow is that day to day where the money is going, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not tracking your cash flow, then you're more likely to spend more than you actually have, and then that's going to put you in debt after you take the family out, and then that electricity bill hit, and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, man. But that's that's why you should have an accountant team or accounting team that you trust when it comes to pulling your reports. A good accounting firm or a good accounting team would know to pull these the cash flow statements, the balance sheet, the profit loss statement. Those are basic things that they should just know. If you don't have someone that you can trust, that you feel really has your business's heart in mind, right? And the survival of your business is not key to the person who you've employed to watch over your books and all of your systems. Call someone you can trust. Hashtag harvest day.
That harvest day. Never steer you left.
Never steer you left. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Oh, man.
We're always right. That's what. No.
Hey, man, I'm just saying what I will tell you about, harvest. And I know this ain't just a shameless plug, but this is serious business when it comes to anything we've covered in this episode. We are diligent. Okay. We make sure that we double check, triple check, right? And we keep your objectives in mind. Now, we sit down with you, we figure out exactly what you want to obtain, what goals you want to meet, and we figure out how we can strategically navigate you in the right direction. There's tax planning when it comes to actually just day-to-day accounting, your bookkeeping. A lot of this stuff is going to have to be done, and it's going to have to be done by somebody that you trust. So who's better than Harvest Accounting Firm? Hey, those Cannabruhz will make sure that we get you the right help by any means necessary to keep you not only compliant, but and not just keep you alive, but to keep you soaring, keep you harvesting. Right.
That message was approved by Harvest Accounting Firm.
Yeah, man. And it's just like that, man. That's been another edition of put you on game.
Put you on game.
Yeah, man. So let's see, that's word on the street. Put you on game.
Thanks about that time, man.
Oh, you must be mean it's time for plug talk.
Plug talk.
Hey. Yep. It's time for plug talk. Okay. And this episode's additional plug talk, we're going to be talking about Ball Family Farms. No, I ain't talking about Lonzo, LaMelo, LiAngelo, LaVar, whoever, right? Okay. This is Ball Family Farms, right? I actually was just reading. I'm always reading something cannabis related, and kind of saw this little this kind of article on Ball Family Farms, and I thought, man, what is this about? Right. Then I'm looking, okay, they Black owned, so they're gonna get another nod, they're gonna get a little bit longer attention. I'm trying to see what's going on, right? And I was thinking, hey, this is actually pretty dope. Noticed that they were out in OKC, so I'm in Dallas. I was thinking, okay, it's pretty close by. So if I get really interested, then I can go check them out. That's pretty cool. Right. And I'm pretty interested. So we would love to go ahead and dive into what they have going on. We're going to dive into what they got going on at the Ball Family Farm. Okay, which we know that they are covering a lot of stuff, not only just the education piece. They have really dope products, right? And they're actually handling the cultivation piece as well as the retail piece, which is an interesting thing, because that's literally, we talk about from seed to sale. Right? That is a seed to sale system. Ideally, I would assume they have a great seed, understand their seed to sell system very well and what's necessary in Oklahoma. So, what we want to do is kind of introduce you, if you haven't aren't tapped in or tuned in to what Ball Family Farms got going on. Well, we're going to share it with you a little bit today. So let's see what's going on.
Let's see where he's headed.
Okay.
CEO and founder of Ball Family Farms. We are one of the first social equity vertically integrated companies based here in Los Angeles. We also have the largest social equity footprint with 100,000 square feet. A little bit of my backstory: you grew up in South Central, born in South Central, got into cannabis, got my first gram of weed when I was about 16 years old. Used it as a source to put myself through junior college over at Mount Sac. Wind up getting a athletic scholarship to go play ball at Berkeley. Spent a little bit of time in the NFL, went over to Europe, went over to Canada, where I was bit by the cultivation bug. Came back in 2006, got back into distribution in the informal market or the black market. Wind up making a name for myself, got myself federally indicted with a very, very, very big case, but paid my debt to society, earned my felony, earned my stripes in the streets, and then that felony actually is what got me my social equity license. So that's been the story, man, and the rest has been history from there, brother.
Very dope.
Yep.
Yeah, that's extremely dope, man. But yeah, you could definitely check them out, man, on ballfamilyfarms.com. That's really dope. Love the story. I also checked out the website. I saw that they got some really dope, like pre-rolls, got their own strains, and they're doing some big stuff right there. I just like I like a good redemption story, man. And now this man is, all pun intended, balling out. What I mean? This man is taking the same thing that took him down and is propelling this man and his business and his family to another level. So shout out to Chris Ball. Shout out to the Ball family farms, right? So definitely go out there and support them. You can actually see if they're located near you, as they have so a few different locations out there in Oklahoma. So go on to ballfamilyfarms.com, use the locator and see if you can get tapped in and tune in to what they got going on yourself, you know? So that, man, that's dope. I'm gonna have to check them out, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Me and the wife like to go out to Oklahoma. So next time we out in Oklahoma, we're gonna have to stop by the nearest location. So y'all go ahead and do the same, man. Show them some love, man. Find them on all the social media platforms, you know, Ball Family Farms. That's Chris Ball and Co. And show them some love, man. They definitely got that stamp of approval from here, from the Cannabruhz, just like that.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, man. That's
what else we got? Oh, okay.
That's it, man. We just really appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. Another episode. I hope you learned something. If you're a entrepreneur, I hope you were taking notes. If not, rewind this thing on back, right? Get you a notepad, pull out the notes app in your phone, and go ahead and figure out what you need to make sure that you're compliant and you're ready for those IRS audits when they come, and you're ready to ball out and enjoy being your own boss, like the good brother Chris Ball is doing out there in Oklahoma, man. But y'all continue to push the movement. And from me, from this Cannabruhz, I thank you. You know, I appreciate it. Corey, you want to send us out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, again, thank everybody for tuning in to another episode. We greatly appreciate all the love and support.
Yeah.
Again, hashtag Black Faces and Green Spaces. We are Black and Brown Faces and Green Spaces. We want to make sure that even though we are the minorities that are impacted the most due to the war on drugs, we want to make sure that we also are a part of the growth and the boom of cannabis on the business side.
That's right. That's right.
We're not just the purchasers, right? We're the builders. Right. We can help rebuild our community from the detriment of the war on drugs.
Absolutely.
So again, hashtag Black and Brown Faces and Green Spaces.
Yeah.
Hashtag from seed to success.
Yeah.
You know, we rock with you no matter what size of business you are, from the start to the aspiring CEOs to the connoisseur that are looking to be business owners to the successful corporation that's already out there.
Yeah.
We rock with you. So make sure you go out there, support the movement. Hashtag Harvest AF. What's the AF stand for?
A familiar face, you know.
Hey. Like it. I like it.
Hashtag Cannabruhz, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody about the dopest podcast that you've heard thus far. All right?
All my life. Grounded all my life.
All my life. That's right. And just like that, it's been another episode of the Cannabruhz, and we out. Wow. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Here to give you knowledge that you didn't know. Put you on some game, now you got a buzz. You are now listening to Cannabruhz.